Welcome to another Battleborn video, and this is Marquis. And I hope I'm saying that right. It might be Marquis. I think the S is silent there. This is a character I've been quite excited about. He showed up in the original trailer some time ago now. This game has kind of been on our radar for quite a while. And I guess that before I dive into him, today, even though I'll be putting this up tomorrow, but they announced the actual release date of, I believe, February 6th, I saw. And we'll finally be able to get our hands on it. And they're also going to do a closed beta pretty soon, and I am hoping to get in on that. And then they'll do an open beta after that. So some cool news coming out of Gamescom. Moving on to Marquis. I'm excited for him on multiple levels. One, I'm a sniper. Two, I have a conspiracy theory that he's a love child of Gearbox made to honor some of the Gearbox moderators. And even though they deny this, I'm going to keep pushing this conspiracy theory like Joe Arpaio and the Birthers. Marquis is a English gentle robot with a monocle. And our moderator, PH, who is also an Englishman, has a monocle on all of his avatars in the forums. So as soon as he came out, I instantly thought, PH, they made a character for you, and he denied it heavily because he is filled with modesty. But then I also realized he's a sniper who also is a secondary pistols specialist with a bird. And if you know anything about Kitty Joe, you know she loves Mordecai, who was a sniper whose secondary specialized in pistols and had a bird. So it's kind of like they made a character just for both PH and Kitty, and that makes sense because those two are lovely people and great moderators of a great forum. And I know I talk about the Gearbox forums a lot, and I spend a lot of time there, and I honestly think out of all my time in my life on the internet, it's probably one of the top two communities I've been a part of in all of my history of being on communities in the internet. It is a great place full of great people, not just the moderators, not just Gearbox, but the actual people in it. There's tons of great people in there. And yeah, so anyways, this is our PH/Kitty character. If you don't believe me, that's fine, because I know I'm right. I don't require proof to believe in my theories. So moving on to him. Marquis de Caliber was once butler to Phoebe before an odd encounter with the LLC's AI leader, the Magna Carta, altered his personality. Now this high society sociopath wreaks havoc on the unwashed masses with his sniper cane Bindlebane and his explosively temperamental mechanical owl Hoodini. How can you not be in love with this character? He's a sociopathic sniper, ex-butler, gentleman robot with a sniper cane called Bindlebane and pet mechanical owls that attack people and explode. You have to. Yeah, no, I was going to say you don't have to, but fuck that. You do. You have to love Gearbox for their creativity with these characters. If you don't, fuck off. This is brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. I'm so happy about this guy and so much of the Battleborn characters. Yeah, so if you can't tell, I'm kind of excited. I love this kind of stuff. I think it's hilarious and fun and hopefully effective in gameplay, but it looks like it. So, onto his abilities. His main attack, Bindlebane, Marquis' signature collapsible sniper rifle, fit with a custom hilt pistol for close range engagement, heavy augmentable. So, I don't know how it's going to work with the controls, but yeah, you can either go pistol for close range or throw on the cane in long range ADS snipe, which is perfect. Going down to his passive kind of armor, I don't really get the point of this one below there. They have it on every character down here in my mouse. But I don't know, it kind of seems vague on all of them. So anyways, Marquis' relatively fragile chassis necessitates careful strategic engagement with enemy Battleborn. I like this. It's fun to kind of go and do your run-in tank things, but as I play mine, you guys have noticed I do use careful placement and crowd control and all that to survive. It's not just her healing, which I do use, but a lot of it is I consider smart play. If you watch Man a little more of Fiber, which I think a lot of you are probably sub to him on, who are sub to me, like he's the same way, and we've talked about like what we consider good, and we'd rather go on a slow run where we don't die than a speed run where we're going to fight for our lives 100 times or die or bleed out. And this kind of is a character for me because of that. Like I like smart play over reckless play most of the time. So onto his abilities. Temporal Distortion. He whips out his pocket watch, again, gentlemanly. After alter the flow of time in a targeted area for 6 seconds, slowing all enemies inside the time warp. That's perfect for a sniper. I mean, you gotta love that. Slow down your enemies, makes them easier to crit. Done deal. Then we go to Predatory Strike. Deploys Hoodini to a target location. Hoodini reveals nearby enemies on the map and collides with them, dealing 208 to 280 damage. Up to 3 owls can be active at once. So that seems pretty cool. If I use Scorn that way with Maya sometimes. I throw it out if I know there's some enemies around, but I can't quite see them. It'll kind of, the beams will go out and kind of hit them, so they pop up on the map and I can see them, or I can see the slag dots on them or whatever. So yeah, this seems cool, and they go and fly into the map and blow up on enemies, which is also pretty cool. Then we go to his ultimate ability, Bindle Blast. A powerful single shot that deals 525 to 750 damage and increases its damage the longer it is in flight. Must be charged before firing. Yeah, that's definitely a cool skill for a sniper. Kind of zoom in, charge it up, and take people out with a single big blast. Sorry, I got a case of the yawns there. And then his passive ability, Ein, Zwei, Die. Another great name. Rifle shots mark your targets. The third shot on the same target adds 50% of your attack damage as bonus damage. Once again, pretty awesome. Now, I don't know if you can do that with Bindle Blast. So, like on a boss, you pop them twice, and then you hit the third one with Bindle Blast, making it really huge. Not quite sure, but either way, it's a cool thing for kind of a sniper. So, moving on, we are going down to Tier 1 of his Helix system. The Greater Hoodini increases predatory strike damage plus 15%. Very nice. Waste makes haste. In addition to slowing enemies, Temporal Distortion now hastens allies plus 30% movement speed for 4 seconds. I think that's pretty cool too. Yeah, so it depends how you're playing. The extra movement speed, I'm sure co-op players are going to absolutely love. Especially since the enemies will be slowed up. So if you slow down enemies, does it say the percent? No. But if you slow down enemies and speed up your allies, especially if you're playing with some melee players, they're going to absolutely be in love with you. Phase Flyer. Predatory Strike owls no longer collide with the world, guaranteeing a hit on target when activated. I'm a little confused on this one. So maybe they can accidentally blow up on terrain rather than hit the enemies. And then this way they fly into the enemy and not into the ground near the enemies. That's what I'm assuming, but I think we're going to have to see this one in play to be exactly sure how that works. Then, whodunit? Predatory Strike owls on the battlefield are cloaked. so enemies won't shoot at them before they land. Maybe they're pretty fragile and can go down easily. Ocular Enhancements. Fits Bindlebane with a variable zoom scope plus 50% zoom range. So I don't know if you're just going to add 50% to your zoom, or if it's kind of like you can zoom in and out while you ADS. We'll see what that's like. I don't like over zooming sometimes, so getting too much zoom range can, in close quarters, can kind of hurt you because you're zooming in too far. We will see how that actually plays out. Executing barrel porting reduces Bindlebane's recoil minus 60%. This seems like the win on this side of it. I generally don't have too much trouble hitting my targets, even though in PvP they move around a lot more than PvE. But reducing recoil is pretty huge on a sniper. Time Killer. All enemies inside Temporal Distortion bubble take damage over time, 28 damage per second. And I think that lasts for, 6 seconds. So that's a decent amount of damage on them while they're in there. And because this game, the nature of it, you're not going to get like one-shot, one-kill snipers. That's not fair for PvP. So he's kind of like a 2 to 3 shot sniper. Time Killer will help that quite a bit. Soften people up a little bit, so maybe you can do some better one-shots. Maybe on some of those little robots he's a one-shotter, but on the big enemies they kind of said that these aren't really one-shots. Like the Bindle Blast should one-shot, but I don't think his regular sniper will be that. So prepare for the comments. This game doesn't have true sniping. Fuck off, go play COD. Big Time. Enlarges Temporal Distortion's area of effect plus 25% bubble size. This could be pretty nice because more enemies slow down, the better. And if you also go to waste makes haste, that means more of your allies can easily get that bonus as well. We will, we'll see which one of these kind of works out better. Maybe it's kind of solo versus co-op. Once again, the nice thing is you're respecing every map, every mission, so we get to play around with them a lot. But I like Big Time a little bit more on this tier, at least as of now. Efficiency Expert. Einswein died bonus damage is triggered on the second consecutive hit of a marked target rather than the third. I'm a huge fan of that. That's going to be a major DPS increase, and hopefully turn him into a 2-shot sniper. Einswein Cry. Increases Einswein dies bonus damage plus 25%. So, without doing the math, I think DPS-wise, these guys might come similar, but being able to kill an enemy in 2 shots rather than 3 shots is a pretty big deal. That way you can just move on to the next target faster. So I like Efficiency Expert better, but we'll see how it actually kind of works. Long Haul Hoodini increases Predatory Strike casting range plus 30% cast distance, or increase Temporal Distortion casting range. Depends on what the cooldown of them. I mean, with 3 owls, you might be using Predatory Strike more than Temporal Distortion, but you're going to want to be using Temporal Distortion as often as possible. I don't know. Part of me is kind of thinking Temporal Distortion might be a little better here because you're a sniper and you might be kind of playing off a little further. So you might want to cast that out further, but we'll see. Bullet Banker increases Bindlebane's magazine size plus 2 clip size. That's probably going to be fairly nice. I'm assuming it doesn't have the fastest reload because it's a sniper, so that's not bad. But bang for the buck. Increases Bindlebane's base damage plus 18%. That also sounds pretty nice. So, I'm not quite sure on those. It's going to be a fast-paced game, so you might be a little better off with the magazine size, but It depends if bang for your buck lets you one-shot more enemies, especially like the bots in those missions. If you can one-shot those with bang for your buck, that's definitely better. If you're still two-shotting them, probably bullet banker. Tier 8 already. Windfall. Upon detonation, Predatory Strike owls leave behind area of effect damage that deal plus 30% damage per second. This doesn't say for how long, and that's kind of a big deal on how much damage it does. Hoot of the Vigilant. Predatory Strike owls behave like sentries and can fire on nearby enemies twice before detonation. That might be pretty cool as well. It really depends which one of these ends up doing more DPS for you. I don't really know how that's going to work out. So I don't really have any comments on Tier 8. Although I love the Houdini, so I'm excited to try both of them. Time to Spare increases the duration of Temporal Distortion's bubble plus 2 seconds. So now you're going to 8 seconds. 2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot. I know I've complained about 2 seconds on like Caldarius' movement speed, but changing something from 6 to 8 seconds is a fairly big deal. I mean, that's quite a bit in a game like this, so that's pretty nice. Cease and Desist intensifies the slowing effect of Temporal Distortion, further reducing enemy movement speed plus 30% slow. But that's pretty damn good, too. This is going to turn out to depend on how powerful his sniper is, I think. Because with the slowed enemies in 6 seconds, how many of them can you take out with his sniper in 6 seconds versus 8 seconds? Depending on the reload speed and the fire rate of it, the time might not be as big damage as slowing down the enemies further. If you're not going to really kill too many more enemies, so that's where that's going to kind of play out at, I believe. But some of it will be kind of more multiplayer. I think Cease and Desist will be maybe better for multiplayer, especially combined with Waste Makes Haste. There's going to be a lot of people playing melee, I assume. And if you can speed them up and incredibly slow down the enemies like this, I think your team's just going to be able to wipe out everything in that bubble incredibly efficiently. So that might be the better way to do it. And PvP, I think the extra 30% slow is going to be better. Because PvP, it's probably going to take more shots to kill enemies than like the bots and that stuff. So slowing someone down that far is going to be a real advantage to you and your teammates. Bindle Blast. Bindle Blast can fire twice after charging. That's pretty dope. Especially when you see that damage. And we've looked at other ultimate skills damages, and they're not. That's the most powerful single hit damage I've seen yet, I think. So, because most of the other ultimate abilities are like a big AoE hitting a lot of enemies. This is just like one massive concentrated damage, which makes sense for a sniper once again. But if you can do it twice after charging, that's going to make his ultimate really, really damn powerful. Especially when we're into like the big bosses and badasses, and with this Cease and Desist, you really slow down those guys. You can hit them easily, and if you can hit them with 2 Bindle Blasts, that's pretty nice. Or wallhacks.exe. Once again, these names are the best. Bindle Blast shots can now pierce world terrain to strike targets. Enemy Battleborn are highlighted in the scope. That also sounds pretty sweet. Like, you can't take cover from him. He'll just shoot right through the walls and kill you. That's awesome. And the highlighted thing kind of reminds me a little bit like Zero Deception, well, with Boar, like highlighting the crit areas. I know this just highlights the enemies, but yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. So I really love this character. Once again, he's completely opposite from the other two I've gone over so far. And the characters just get more and more unique. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this. And 4 more were announced today. So I've got quite a bit of these to do. I've got 7 more to cover, but now 11 with the extra 4. So that's pretty exciting. and I like just kind of thinking about this game because there's so much. And as a brief little intro or extra, this a lot of this is new from Gamescom, talking about the progression system, and there's more info about this stuff in the forums. Randy V, once again, I'm talking about how forthcoming he's been. He kind of said the website's behind, and he gave more details on like the multiplayer and the progression system and the loot system. So actually, like, they do have class mods. You can equip like 3 pieces of gear at once, and they can give you like separate boosts, but they can also boost skills within your helix system. So if you're going down, you know you're going to hit this one, you know you're going to get that comm, so it actually can boost the stats. So maybe instead of 20% cooldown, it goes to 30%. I don't know the numbers. But you can also wear like a comm or a relic or something that affects the other team negatively. So like it'll slow down their shield recharge delay or lessen their shield capacity or stuff like that. So you can wear uh, gear to boost you or debuff your opponents, and I think that's a pretty interesting way. And the relic's also not just skills in your uh, helix tree, but it'll have passive boosts to you as well. So gun damage, melee damage, something along those lines, and they even come in rarity like the white, green, purple kind of stuff we've seen before. And you pick up shards to buy those, and the more expensive ones cost more. So we'll see how that plays out, but sounds like they did find a way to bring some loot into this that could be pretty interesting. So the game just got a little more interesting once again. So thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and please comment below what you think about this game. And I hope you've been keeping up with the Gamescom information, because that seems pretty interesting. If you've not subscribed yet, please do that as well. And thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bye.